Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom, there lived a minister known far and wide for his intelligence. He was calm, thoughtful, and always had a wise answer ready. The king trusted him deeply, so much so, that he never made an important decision without the minister's advice. But great respect often attracts great jealousy. Many people in the royal court secretly envied the minister. They didn't like how much the king relied on him. So, they constantly searched for ways to humiliate him. One day, the king himself gave them that opportunity. In front of the entire court, during a royal meeting, the king chuckled and said, "Minister, you are indeed a wise man. But your son is the most foolish boy I've ever seen." Everyone turned to look at the minister, who stood stunned. Before he could respond, the king continued, "Every morning, I walk through the town square to meet my people. And every morning, your son is there. I ask him the same question. Which coin is more valuable, gold or silver? And every single day, your son picks silver." The court burst into laughter. Some shook their heads. Others laughed loudly. The minister stayed silent, but his heart was aching. Without saying another word, he bowed respectfully to the king and left the court. That evening, back at home, he called for his son. "Tell me honestly," he asked gently. "Which is more valuable, gold or silver?" The son answered immediately. "Greater than gold, father. Everyone knows that." The minister looked confused. "Then why do you keep picking the silver coin in front of the king? Today the entire court mocked you, and me." The son smiled faintly. Then, without saying a word, he walked to his room and opened a small wooden chest. Inside were dozens of silver coins, shining and neatly stacked. The minister stared, confused. "Where did you get all these coins?" The boy said, "From the king. Every morning, he places 2 coins before me, 1 gold and 1 silver. He says, 'Pick the more valuable one.' I always choose silver. He laughs, hands it to me, and walks away. If I ever pick gold, the game will end. He'll stop asking. I'll stop receiving. Yes, gold is worth more. But that 1 coin would end the king's interest. Instead, I've been receiving a silver coin every day." He added with a soft smile, "Let the king laugh. Let the court laugh. I'm not here to prove anything to them. I'm here to build something for myself, quietly, patiently." The minister stared at his son in awe. He had never thought of it this way. After a long pause, the minister sat down beside his son and said, "You've taught me something today. Wisdom doesn't always speak loudly. Sometimes it smiles, while the world laughs." From that day onward, whenever anyone mocked the minister's son or called him a fool, the minister would just smile and say, "Let them think what they want. Some lessons are only visible to those who think deeply." What happened next? Years passed. The king never stopped his little morning game. Every day, the boy chose silver. Every day, the court laughed. And every day, the chest under his bed grew heavier. Eventually, the king passed away. A new ruler came to power, young and ambitious. In search of a trustworthy advisor, the new king asked the old minister, "Do you know someone wise, someone young, who doesn't seek attention but understands value?" The minister smiled. "Yes, I do." And so, the so-called foolish boy, now a thoughtful young man, was invited to the royal court. The same people who once laughed now stood to greet him with respect. He became the youngest advisor in the kingdom, and perhaps the wisest. Moral of the story: not everyone who stays silent is a fool. Not everyone who laughs is right. True wisdom often hides behind humility, patience, and quiet choices. People may laugh at you. They may not understand your path. But if you know what you're doing, if your steps are true, then you don't need their applause. The world often mocks what it doesn't understand, until one day, it's forced to respect it. So stay focused. Be silent if you must. Let the world think you're collecting silver, when in truth, you're building something far more valuable.